Before we begin this heart-touching story of love, sacrifice, and hope, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss stories that warm your heart and inspire your soul. In a small village surrounded by lush green fields and dusty roads, lived a woman named Aisha. She was known to everyone as a kind and humble soul, always ready to help others despite living a life of poverty herself. Aisha was a widow. Her husband had passed away when their only son, Rehan, was just 2 years old. Since then, she had carried the entire weight of life on her fragile shoulders, working day and night to give her son a better future. Her small mud house with a broken roof stood at the edge of the village, where wind and rain often seeped through, but Aisha never complained. Her entire world revolved around her son, and her biggest dream was to educate him so he would never face the hardships she endured. Rehan, on the other hand, was a bright and curious boy. He always ranked among the top students in his class. He loved books, learning, and often told his mother, "One day, Ami, I will become a big man and build you a beautiful house where rain will never fall through the roof." These words always brought tears to Aisha's eyes, for she knew the boy was her only hope in life. To support his education, Aisha worked as a maid in several houses in the village. She washed clothes, cleaned floors, and sometimes worked in the fields under the scorching sun. The money she earned was barely enough to buy food and pay for Rehan's school fees, but she never let him feel the weight of their poverty. Often, she would skip her own meals so her son could have enough to eat. She stitched old clothes to make them last another season. But no matter how hard life became, she always had a smile for her son and encouraged him to study well. Years passed, and Rehan grew into a handsome young man, intelligent and ambitious. He secured a scholarship to study in the city, something no one from their village had ever achieved before. The day he received his admission letter, Aisha cried tears of joy. Her sacrifices were finally bearing fruit. Rehan promised his mother, "I will study hard, Ami. One day, I will make you proud, and you will never have to work again." When Rehan left for the city, Aisha stood at the village bus stop waving until the bus disappeared from sight. Her heart felt empty, but she consoled herself, thinking this separation would bring a better tomorrow. She continued working as a maid, saving every penny she could to send to her son for his expenses. She often wore the same faded clothes, ate simple meals of bread and lentils, and never spent a rupee on herself. Rehan, in the city, was dazzled by the new world around him: tall buildings, bright lights, and people who spoke fluent English and wore stylish clothes. At first, he missed his mother terribly. He wrote her letters, telling her about his classes, his professors, and the new friends he was making. Aisha treasured each letter like a priceless gem, reading them over and over after long days of work. But slowly, as months turned into years, the letters became less frequent. Rehan became busier with his studies, part-time jobs, and new social circle. He rarely visited the village, claiming assignments and internships kept him occupied. Aisha never complained. She always told neighbors with pride, "My son is working hard. One day, you will see, he will become a big man." Finally, after years of hard work, Rehan graduated with top honors and landed a high-paying job in the city. He began living a comfortable life, wearing branded clothes, dining in fancy restaurants, and driving a car, a far cry from the boy who once studied under a dim kerosene lamp in their village hut. But success changed Rehan in ways Aisha had never imagined. He felt embarrassed by his humble background and avoided talking about his mother's poverty with his colleagues. When Aisha called, he often sounded impatient, promising to visit but rarely doing so. She longed to see him, to hear about his life, to feel his presence in the house that had grown colder with each passing year. One day, the villagers told Rehan that his mother had fallen ill. He sent some money for her treatment but didn't visit, saying work kept him busy. Aisha recovered slowly, but the light in her eyes had dimmed. She still prayed for her son's success every day, never once blaming him for his absence. Months later, Aisha's health worsened again, and this time, she didn't survive. When the news reached Rehan, he rushed to the village, his heart heavy with guilt. The small mud house looked the same, but his mother was gone forever. Among her few belongings, he found a box filled with his childhood letters, neatly tied with a ribbon. Beside it lay a pair of torn slippers she had worn for years, and an old sari she had never replaced because she spent every rupee on his education. Rihan broke down, realizing too late the depth of her sacrifices. All his success, his wealth, his comforts, they had come at the cost of a mother's dreams and health. She had given him everything but never asked for anything in return, except perhaps his time, his love, his presence, things he had failed to give. Standing before her grave, Rihan whispered through tears, "Forgive me, Ami. I became everything you wanted, but I lost you in the process." The wind blew softly, as if carrying his words to the heavens. But Aisha was gone, and nothing could bring her back. The story of Aisha and Rihan became a lesson for the entire village, a reminder that no matter how busy life gets, no matter how far we go, we must never forget the people who sacrificed everything to make us who we are. If this story touched your heart, don't let Aisha's sacrifice go in vain. Love your parents, value their efforts, and spend time with them while you still can. Share this story with others so they remember the priceless gift of a mother's love. And before you go, subscribe to our channel for more inspiring and heart-touching stories that remind us of what truly matters in life.